After everything came through, my daughters, they were big advocates when I didn't have a voice. Did all of the talking to the news stations and everything to keep it alive, what Chris had done and what happened on May the 18th. Once I got my voice back, I started meeting with Jack Rosie myself. I started meeting with the medical examiner that did Chris's autopsy report, and every time I turned around, they were like, no, you can't have that. No, you gotta wait. No, you have to wait until we have a trial. Now, if anybody follows the trial, it took me 7 years to realize that we might not have a trial, okay? I live on hope because I do believe that our 10 deserve justice.
Yeah.
So what happened? I started making the meetings with Jack Rosie, and time again he told me, no, I can't have it. I started making meetings with the Santa Fe School District. They were also telling me, no, we can't have a third-party investigation, until the trial. Everybody hid behind the trial. That's everything that I was being told. After all of that had happened, I had a conversation with Jack Rosie on the phone, and what he told me is what sent me into the advocacy that I'm doing now. He told me on the phone that this was just another murder to go across his desk.
Oh my God.
Yes. And so to me, I can't get into the conversation how that went because it wasn't pretty at all. But when these kids, we send them to school because we have to, okay? This is a by law type thing, and they shouldn't be put on the back burner. And that's what happened. So I went and followed Mr. Fullen and Nolan as they were doing, they were going for sheriff there. And I was there at one, and they were talking about our school shooting, but the facts that they were talking about were not real. They didn't know what they were talking about, either one of them. It just wasn't one, it was both. I had a small meltdown. I walked outside and I called Mike Petranka. Mike Petranka has been a very vital piece to who I am today. He's helped me develop my backbone. I've had great people that's had my back this entire time. I walked outside and I told him, Mike, you're not gonna believe, what they're talking about here. And he says, Rosie, calm down, we'll take care of it. Not even 2 days later, I was back with him, and that's whenever we got together and we started writing a letter for the DOJ because I want a third-party investigation. That is something that we've been asking for the last 7 years, and we don't have that. None of y'all in this room and nobody out in this public knows exactly what happened on May the 18th, but I do. I do. And it's hard for me to have this information and y'all not have it. Right. Because when people look at me, it's like, she's just angry. I am angry. Yes. Because you don't know what I know. And I want y'all to know that. And at one time or another, y'all are going to get to see it because I'm not going to stop fighting for that. After Mike wrote our letter, he sent it off, and we got a letter back, and the disgrace of it was, they didn't even address it to us. They addressed it to Columbine. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
We can't give you the information right now because of whatever they said in the letter, and they wrote Columbine. Didn't even address it to us. That's one instance of a slap in our face that we have to do, trying to fight for justice, and we shouldn't have to be doing that. Afterwards, the more I got talking to Mike, I told him, I was like, Mike, I've been thinking about this, time and time again about Stone Law. And what I want to do with Stone Law is I want to grab all these injustices and all these pieces and put them into one little chapter. Just like if there's a theft, you go to that, A, B, C is going to happen. If somebody gets raped, A, B, C, D is going to happen. There's nothing for school shootings. There's nothing. So Mike and I got together, and he listened to everything I had to say. We put it down on black and white, and he gave me a folder, and I took off to Austin, and I'm very good friends with Dan Patrick. He is the only person that has kept up with my family since May the 18th. He came to Chris's funeral. He speaks to me at least once or twice a year, asks me how I'm doing. So I left to Austin, and I texted him, and I said, I'm here, I have this folder that you asked me for. I'd like to drop it off. He texted me right back and said, can you be here in 15, 20 minutes? And I said, I sure can. So I went to his office, and when I walked in there, his whole team was there, his lawyer teams. I walked in and I told him, look, this is what we've been working on. Mike helped me out a lot. And I handed it to him. and not even, what was it, like a week later, he called me back and he said, Rosie, we're gonna do something with this. It's just too late in the session for us to do it, so come and get this proclamation for your son, and we're gonna work together for the next 2 years, and we're gonna get this down, and it will be presented in 2027. So I'm very happy about that. The other piece is about Santa Fe ISD. You know, they've been very quiet this entire time, you know, and I don't understand why they don't work with us. I've made numerous meetings with them. I've talked to the superintendent, Wall, I've talked to the new superintendent, Bott, and there's just no getting to them. I don't understand where they're coming from and treating us this way, but they have. The one thing that Lee Wall told me was, I was asking about the doors. You know, one door was locked and one door was open. And the door that was locked, that was my son's room. My son literally used his body to try to break that door so they could get out. And when they couldn't get out, they turned and they went into a kiln room. And that's where he held the door. At the time, I didn't know that there was no doorknob. I don't know if some of y'all know, but we did have a trial not too long ago that we took the parents to court and they were found zero accountability.
That's crazy.
Zero, nothing, not even 1% did that family get. And that's an injustice again to us. And that's why stone law is so vital for us to get it passed. But I just want to say that thank you for having me. I like everything that you're doing. It's going to be a tough journey, you know, and as long as each and every one of us take another friend to the poll, I think this can be beat. It's a big community out there of the good old boys is what I call them, and we're just now getting started, you know. And here's the bigger piece. I've been told no so many times. No, Rosie, you can't have that. No, Rosie, you can't do that until we have a trial. And let me stand here today and say all the things that I was told that I cannot have, I have.
Good for you.
All of it.
Good.
And I didn't stop. And this started out as a journey as by myself. And then Gail, who is here tonight, she lost her son. Her son was with mine. He bled out. He didn't get no help to come save him in time. Then we had Flo Rice. Flo Rice was another vital person. She was another one that got shot. She would actually be dead today if it wasn't for her husband. She did not receive no help. No help. And y'all don't know that because y'all haven't seen the videos. But thank God Flo's alive, you know. So it's going to take a team, and that's what we did. We got together and we passed laws. We passed SB 435, which gave it the rights back to us. That's how I got to see the video. That's how I got to get my son's autopsy report. I didn't even get that. They wouldn't even give me my son's autopsy report. They even did a documentary. They had a whole documentary that I went and sat in that movie theater and I asked them, is there anything in there that I need to know before I'm sitting in there? They're like, oh no, Rosie, you're fine. They told me that Chris had foam in his mouth. They told me that he was having seizures. And I went back and called the medical examiner and they said, I'm sorry, Rosie, I can't tell you nothing until a trial.
Jesus.
So that was their excuse for everything. So my big piece here is keep fighting. Y'all take another friend to the polls to vote. I just thank you so much for having me.